The Connection Between Art and Poetry, a discussion between Taylor Tedford, Angelica Stabile, Richard Gangle, and Dylan Houseworth. The process of understanding the connection between art and poetry has allowed the writers on this panel to capitalize on the way that visual art can supplement their work by developing meaning and guiding interpretation, while transforming the lens through which the photographers viewed the world around them as they contemplated how to capture the emotions and concepts of poetry visually. For the poets, this began with Poems on a Corner, where they developed visual displays for Smith Library to accompany poems of their choosing. I chose the poem The Best of It by Kay Ryan. Within this poem, Ryan proposes through her metaphor of a bean that one only needs a sliver of hope to have the strength to carry on in the face of adversity. The display that I developed to accompany this poem represents the tension that Ryan struggles with, as she suggests that although she finds her strength and hope, it is foolish of her to do so. Ultimately, the display asks its viewers the same question that Ryan presents within The Best of It. Is hope enough to sustain you? After hearing national award-winning poet Terry Erickson talk about the way that she works visually, the photographers completed a similar project for Smith Library, producing photographs to accompany a poem of their choosing. The photographers were then given poems produced by High Point University students and asked to interpret the poems visually. Our presentation at High Perks will feature both the poets and photographers speaking about this process and involve reflection like Angelica's.
This is originally influenced by an interaction I had at a party with a new friend I had made that night who had been told that I had the ability to sing by one of my friends, and he had wanted me to sing in front of all of these people. And I was pretty hesitant to it, but I actually wound up standing up and singing, and it was pretty cool. It was a fun moment for me. So I took that moment as influence to write about it and kind of put it into a more poetic sense, a poetic statement. So I originally had no intention of making it a religious piece whatsoever. While I don't have extensive knowledge on religion or the Bible, I figured that I would translate the name Matthew, who was the friend I had made that night, into a more religious connection, because I found that it connected to the imagery in the piece of serenading and the entire lighting of the piece. It connected well to a more religious aspect, which is why it's interesting that the photographers actually took my piece and translated it into something that is completely religious and had depicted my piece in the setting of the chapel on High Point University's campus.
Our panel will examine various pairs of photographs and poems developed over this semester and participate in a discussion revolving around the intent of the poet, the interpretation of the photographers, and how poetry and photography can work together.